So at the end of the last video where I talked about and kind of responded to Alex's video on the Drew McIntyre Lashley reaction that it's been getting, because of course it's going to take place once again, the match between the two at Hell in a Cell, probably within the cell. I kind of touched upon as to why Alex, is basically very supportive of the idea that Lashley's going to retain. I mean, like I said, towards the end of that, I'm already certain in the comment section and on his Twitter and all that he probably got, of course, some trolls, some critics, basically arguing against his opinion about Lashley retaining, and that he should just, probably wake up and realize McIntyre is going to win or whatever the case may be. And, Alex, like I mentioned, has a personal reason, in my opinion, and he's even been vocal about this with other superstars as well. He's been very vocal as to why he feels the way he does. I mean, when Sasha and Bianca main evented night one, and he was very advocate about that happening, it's because of a racial historicalness. It was the first time that we had two black women, black athletes, if you will, main event WrestleMania, or any major WrestleMania-like event, period, of any of the major promotions, past or present. And it meant a lot to him from a personal racial mindset, because, black people, just like any other race, don't really get treated equally, despite what others will say. They don't. They don't get the same opportunities. And nowadays, we're starting to see that kind of change because of what's happened over the past several years. Most notably last year because of what happened to George Floyd and some other, African Americans, black women, black men, and all that shouldn't have happened. We're starting to see that. But it's not just with them either. It's with Latinos. It's with, Native Americans, if you will. It's, with, Asian Americans. It's with a lot of different races that are not pure white, if you know what I mean. So I can understand where Alex is coming from when he feels the way he does. Even Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy, is very advocate about, giving other racial athletes an opportunity to shine, be in the spotlight. Heck, I even did a video, which surprisingly got a lot of views, and I thank you guys for that, where I advocated for the fact that Sasha and Bianca were main eventing night one of WrestleMania, and how it was important in its historicalness and why it had to happen. But when I get back to what Alex, said in his video, where he basically, straight up said that Bobby Lashley was going to retain. He just straight up said it. He said, you can forget about Drew winning, it's not going to happen and everything. And the reason he said that, and I say this with all due respect, no offense, is because like I said, it's a personal situation for him. It's a personal deal for him from a racial standpoint. It's the same thing, identically, if not semi-identically, to how full-blooded Latinos, or even half Latinos like myself, felt when the late great Eddie Guerrero became champion in 2004. We were happy about that. We were ecstatic. We couldn't, believe that WWE actually gave, after so long, gave a Latino athlete their main championship, and basically said, you're the guy now. You're the face of the company now. We couldn't believe it. We were ecstatic. We were overjoyed. Now, true, he lost the belt, like, what? 5 months, 6 months later? But still, we were overjoyed. We were happy at the fact that he had gotten his opportunity. Were a lot of us afraid that he would potentially drop it back to, to Angle at WrestleMania 20? Absolutely. But that didn't happen. They kept it on him. And that was even more confirmation that they had trust in him. The same with Rey Mysterio. Yeah, they did it as a tribute to Eddie, and they didn't have to, but the fact that they did it for a second year in a row, was great, was tremendous. And, like a lot of us, we thought, on both occasions that both Eddie and Ray were going to... Okay, well, they gave Ray the championship 2 years later, but you kind of get what I'm saying. A lot of us were hoping and praying that they would have long title reigns. I mean, imagine if YouTube was around back then. You would see a lot of full-blooded Latinos, Mexicans, if you will, half-blooded Latinos, Mexicans, if you will, coming out and saying, basically something similar, maybe on the level of what an Alex was saying about Lashley. That, oh, you can forget about JBL winning the title. Oh, you can forget about anybody cashing in successfully on Ray and all that. We would dismiss it. We would be, we would be, or we would have been, is what I'm trying to say. We would have been dismissive of it because we didn't want to see Ray drop that belt. We didn't want to see him drop the championship at all. We wanted we wanted Eddie, we wanted them to have long-term title reigns for maybe a year and a half, whatever. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And yeah, it hurt when they took the belts off them, and it'd be a while before Ray got another reign with a championship, even though it was just a couple of hours, a cup of tea with the WWE title. The thing is, still, it was something that we were happy about. But getting back on point, the fact is, I, even being half Mexican, can understand where Alex is coming from. Because of the fact that this is something that you don't see every day, especially from WWE. And what he wants, all he wants, along with other black men and women that love WWE, that love professional wrestling, that love sports of any kind, all they want is for someone like Lashley to have a long-term title reign. That's all they want. That's all they're asking WWE to give them. The same way all we asked from WWE was to give us long-term Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio title reigns back in 04 and 06. That's it. That is it. So, for anybody to jump on Alex, or anybody else that supports this, you have to understand, this is a personal thing for someone like Alex. This is a personal thing for anybody of racial culture and ethics. Because we don't see this every day. And that is why people want to see Bobby Lashley succeed. They want to see him keep that belt. Because if he can keep that belt for a long time, it sends a message that maybe WWE is in fact finally changing their ways and they're giving other races an opportunity. That's why, it means so much to them. That's why it meant so much when Kofi won the belt a couple years ago. Because of that significance. And all they ask is just for WWE to give Lashley the opportunity to run with that ball, continuously run with that ball, and not have to relinquish it until maybe next year or something. And that's it. That's it. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. How do you feel about it? Let me know what your thoughts are in the live chat, and I'll talk to y'all later.